to Miami, sponsored by Jim Hudson Automotive Group.
Alrighty, the Georgia Bulldogs have traveled the road to Miami and finished the season with a win. Our sports team joins us live from Miami to break down what was a wire-to-wire victory for the Dogs. Dan and Alyssa, take it away.
The Georgia Bulldogs came down to Miami and left no doubt in their bowl game against Florida State, winning 63-3, certainly sending a message to the rest of the college football world.
Yeah, we certainly saw that number just keep on climbing. That 60-point margin is the largest in bowl history. It broke a 70-year-old Orange Bowl record and the big win from last year's national championship.
This image of Kirby Smart and Kendall Milton throwing oranges from the trophy off the stage shows just how much playing and winning this game meant to the Dogs.
Kirby Smart said earlier, we'll see when it comes to Brock Bowers. Well, we didn't see him in person until that trophy was lifted. Bowers was on the sideline dressed in 19, but he didn't take a single snap against FSU. Now the clock is ticking, deciding if that next snap comes in the NFL. Ladd McConkey did leave us with one final glimpse in the red and black in stride, 27 yards for a cake topper on the possible end of his career at Georgia. It was a bookend for those guys moving on to the next level and the start of a new one for names we've occasionally heard, but we'll be getting used to next year. The Dogs had 10 different receivers on the books. Playing their second and third string defenses in the second half, they gave up just 24 yards of offense, flexing for the future.
We got a lot of really good leaders going into next year because they got to learn from these guys, and these guys learned from the guys before them. So if that's passed down and that culture's created, it's a really good thing. You know, you're always going to have more turnover on your team now with the age that we're in, but you got to make sure that your team's built annually the right way.
The culture Kirby Smart has created in Athens inspired the majority of his players to play in this bowl game. For the past several weeks, Kirby talked about the importance of finishing this season strong, and that is exactly what the Dogs did.
Our message the whole week was to finish. You know, a lot of teams kind of giving out on in the bowl games, but we weren't going to do that, especially for our seniors.
Anytime I step on the field, I never know if it's going to be my last one, so I've tried to play like that all year. So, but definitely to be able to get the 50th win for the senior class, it was huge.
This group of seniors is a hard-working group. I mean, every single guy is a leader. It doesn't matter if they were dedicated to team captain, they were a captain to me, and I appreciate all they do and all their love and support.
The guys that are in that class mean so much to us, mean so much to me, mean so much to this organization. It was a pleasure sending them out the right way.
Regardless of who was on the field, beating Florida State by 60 sent a message loud and clear that this team wanted to be back in the college football playoff.
Show our standard of Georgia football. It doesn't matter what the game is, it doesn't matter how big, how little the game is to everybody else. It's always a big game because we're in it.
We had a chip on our shoulders kind of coming into this game. We feel like we're one of the best 4 teams in the country, and I feel like we kind of played like that tonight, man. The chips didn't fall where we wanted them to, but, you know, a win is a win, and we're going to take them how they come.
It's important just because that's the type of ball we play, and then we have to, I say, send a message. Just to show, yeah, we're still Georgia. We may have lost, but we're still good.
On the local front, former Lakeside Panther Will Hadaway made the trip down to Miami. Hadaway is Lakeside's all-time leader in points scored and is a kicker for the Dogs. It's always great seeing our local kids thrive on the big stage. It was great seeing Will Hadaway out there, and I'm not exaggerating. Every time that we went to Athens for a game, I would go out to the field about an hour 30 before kickoff just to see if he was warming up with the rest of the kickers. And today, we finally saw him go out there wearing the red and black, once again providing another example of what these bowl games can provide opportunities to younger players.
Tonight we also saw the opposite effect. Florida State was without 97% of their players that led them to that undefeated season. Kirby Smart even stopped his press conference to talk about it.
College football has got to decide what they want, and I know things are changing, and I think things are going to change next year. And you know what? There's going to still be bowl games outside of those. People got to decide what they want and what they really want to get out of it, because it's really unfortunate for those kids on that sideline that had to play in that game that didn't have their full arsenal.
And it's going to be interesting to see how the college football landscape just continues to change. There's so many big moves happening over the past several years, moving into next year with the 12-team playoff, and in the SEC as well, with no longer having divisions. So many know is that the Dogs are ending the 2023 season with a 60-point win down here in Miami.
Strong finish for the Dogs and our sports team covering them all season. Thank you, Dan and Alyssa.